You probably don't know the gravity of what you're doing until you kill yourself. Oh, you don't know? Because tell me why you would make a mistake, and after making that mistake, you will still be in that mistake, grieving about the mistake, and not still finding a possible way to resolve that mistake. Why? I know this is a very sensitive and important topic because everybody goes through guilt in one way or the other. Nobody is above mistake. Even myself, I have gone through the feeling of guilt, and I'm now here to share what I did in order to relieve that feeling of guilt and forgive myself instantly. So if you have that mistake, or if you know that people already have tagged you to be somebody you don't want to be because of a mistake that you've made, I'm here for you. This video is here for you. And in this video, I'll be telling you tips on how to forgive yourself today, to forgive yourself now, and let go of the feeling of guilt. So the first is to acknowledge your feeling. I know you didn't see this coming, because in acknowledging your feeling, it helps you to heal better. So what I want you to do now is to recognize that you're feeling a certain way. In this case, you're feeling guilt and you're feeling bad, you're feeling bitter because you have a conscience. I hope you have a conscience. So if you have a conscience, to realize that you've done a mistake and you're now feeling bad about it. So the first tip in order to forgive yourself is to acknowledge that feeling, recognize the feeling, and in a very little way, I want you to embrace the feeling. Don't get me wrong, in embracing the feeling, you would want to know the root cause of that feeling, why you made that mistake, why the actions were done. Do you understand me? I want you to express permission to yourself to feel that feeling of guilt just a little, but it shouldn't take a large chunk of your life. Never should it take a large chunk of your life. Now, the second is to take responsibility for your own mistake. Hey, even if you have people around that you can push the consequences of that mistake to, or you have a friend, or you have a thing that you can just push it. Oh, I did this because this person was there, or I did it because of this particular thing. I want you to leave that. Yes, I said it. Leave that and take responsibility for your own mistake. You were the one that did it. You were the one that thought about it. It was your actions. It was your body that did it, your hand, your leg, or whatsoever that you used in committing the crime. You are the one that did it by yourself. So why would you want to push the consequences to somebody else? So what I want you to do is to own up to what you have done. Do not try to push it to anybody. No matter how scary the consequences might be, do not push it to anybody. Own up to your mistakes and realize that even if you've done this, you can still make amends for that. That's the whole essence of being a mature woman being. That's the whole essence of being a human being that have sense. Now, the third one, and one of the most important one, is to practice self-compassion. Now, I get it when you feel like you've made a very big mistake and you have not even reconciled with yourself because you could not believe that you would go as far as doing this. So your mistake can be anything. So what I want you to do is to practice self-compassion. Please say kind words to yourself. You are aware that you made this mistake. What's the way forward? Why are you allowing your mind and your soul to draw you into that negative side of life? Why? Do you want to kill yourself? That is why I made that statement in the beginning of this video. You will not be aware of the consequences of what you're doing until you take your own life. I have seen many people that don't even get up from the feeling of guilt. They go as far as committing suicide. Because what? They cannot say positive things to themselves. They don't show appreciation to themselves enough. They don't even show compassion to themselves. They allow their mind to soak and wallow in self-pity and in guilt. They guilt-trap themselves and don't even see possible ways to relieve themselves from that burden. That is why this video is created. That is why I had to produce this video for many people that are feeling like they can't even see a future out of what they've done, the guilt that they've done. So what I want you to do is imagine you have a friend that have committed a serious crime, or an ex-convict that was just released from the prison. How would you want to relate with that friend? Would you want to be telling the friend, oh, you've just been released, you're a bad person, how am I sure you're not going to go back to that same crime? What good will come out from you? How can you even start life again? You would not want to say all those negative things to the person, right? What you would want to do is to assist the person in coming back on his feet. Assist the person with positive self-talk. Assist the person in giving them hope in order to revive from the negative experience that he has gotten from the prison sentence so that he can live a better life. So why wouldn't you want to do that to yourself? So even if there's nobody around to lift you up back with words of encouragement, you are your personal fan. You are the owner of your life. What you should do is to give yourself positive self-talk. Be compassionate to yourself. Anytime you feel like thinking in the negative way, which is very common, we are human beings. Anytime you feel like thinking in a negative way, what you should do right now is to replace it with a positive thought. Because come to think of it, you have the conscience, you have the mind to still think that you did this, but you are feeling compassionate in order to try to resolve the problem. You have the conscience, because I know many people would want to commit a crime, like armed robbers, kidnappers. They will commit very serious crime, and most of them, they don't even have conscience anymore. They don't even have conscience to think or be remorseful of what they've done. But you, in your case, you are remorseful. You are feeling this regret because you have a conscience. Shouldn't that be a motivation for you to still think positively on how you can resolve that issue? Now, the fourth and the final and one of the most important tip is to let go of perfection. Let go of perfection. Perfection is an illusion. I have been saying this consistently on my channel. Nobody is perfect. The earlier you realize that, the earlier we all realize that we are not perfect, the better for us. Do you get me? So even when you try to resolve the problem at hand, even when you try to make amends for the mistakes that you've done, I don't want you to start thinking of the most perfect way to do that. Because guess what? When you think of the most perfect way, you're just boxed in a particular way. And when you cannot find the most perfect way to do that, you end up not doing that, or even end up doing it worse than you have planned. So instead of trying to make things perfect, try to make it good enough. That's why it is good enough. Try to make it good enough. Try your best as much as you can, but don't go over the limit in trying to make it good enough. Do this, do this, do this, cry to the whole world that you've done a mistake. No, that's not necessary. That is not necessary. And also, in the flip side, you have to know that you made this mistake because you are not perfect. That's not an excuse to keep making mistakes. Yes, that's not an excuse to keep making mistakes, but you have to realize that rather than beating yourself down and saying, I do not expect me to do this, I do not think I will do this, why would I do this? Are you not done? Is it not okay? Can we just move on to the remedies of this problem? So that's it, guys. You need to let go of perfection. Now, if you want me to give you a rundown of these steps again, the first is to acknowledge your feeling. Acknowledge that you feel this certain way, guys. Acknowledge and recognize that your feeling is due to this certain action, and you should know why you did that action, so you wouldn't go back into making the same mistake over and over again. Now, the second is to take responsibility of your action, no matter what, no matter who is available to push the consequences to. You need to take responsibility of your action, own up to it, no matter how shameful it can be. Now, the third one is to practice self-compassion. Please say kind words to yourself. People don't really know the importance or the power that self-affirmation does to a person. You need to say words of encouragement to yourself now to give you the boost to look for the remedies of that mistake. Now, the fourth one is to let go of perfection. You are not perfect, hence, you might make flaws. There's a little excuse for that, but then you can still find remedies for this and forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've done, no matter how great the mistake might have been. So, that's it for today's video, guys. I believe this video was very informative. I believe it was very helpful. I wanted to make it short, cute, and sweet for those of us that are going through this phase in our life and cannot just see ways to forgive themselves. And as usual, I would love that you like this video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below on other tips that you want us to implement in order to let go of guilt, the shame, and the regret, and forgive ourselves today. And I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye.